Hello, welcome to the Health In Show, an affiliate program of Homeopathy World Community. You've come to the right place to tune in and participate with your comments and questions. Love is the greatest healer of all. But sometimes, in order to change our emotions, we must take action in other spheres of our lives. We speak with experts in alternative and complementary health fields and hope you will benefit in some small or great way. Remember, you are wherever your thoughts are. Make sure your thoughts are where you want to be.
Noon or the most evening, which is applicable to you. Welcome to the live Health In Show by SWC. This show is is running weekly as a weekly show since 2011 to 2017. Then it is a monthly show. Now it is on the second Monday of every month. It is a live show where we will discuss about the health. We are committed to uh, do a show regarding your health in any ways, and we are at promoting the and spreading the love to homeopathy and throughout the world. So today I am Dr. Deepak Sharma and CEO of SWC. I welcome all of you and our speaker of today's Rebecca Stugan from South Africa, who is with us. So welcome, Rebecca, for this show. We Here is a few things I want to tell you because those are new for this show. This is a live show by Homeopathy World Community. The Homeopathy World Community is a community for homeopath, community by the homeopath. It is founded by Debbie Bruck. She is no more, but she is always in our heart. So I am feeling proud when I am just continue and take over the SWC. And I all request all the homeopaths to join Homeopathy World Community at www.homeopathyworldcommunity.com. You can contact us at uh, Homeopathy World Community @gmail.com. I always thanks to nishancommunication.com, who is continuously doing the live show. She's in the Amnan. Mr. Amnan will always help us to do a show. And today we are we have one more show on this homeopathy. As a disclaimer, I always said that we are not prescribing any kind of medicine here on this platform. We just discussing about the homeopathy, we just discussing about the diseases, but we will not prescribe any kind of medication here. During the show you can ask any question or you can share anything you want at nishancommunications.com. Go to the live and you can join the live show. You can ask any question at the chat here, or you can call us at any time at 919-518-9773, or you can connect via Skype with the ID computer 2K voice computers 2 is a numerical number, K voice via Skype. So welcome Rebecca for this wonderful show. And today we are talking about the Elvia Burry. So she's a homeopath from South Africa. And for more, I want to listen about the history of Elvabari. And Rebecca, you are one of the direct follower of her. So please start with your experience with her and what about what she is actually, so that world will know about it.
I will indeed, Dr. Deepak Sharma. Um, uh, I'm just wanting to acknowledge that Walazi's just arrived, and thank you, Walazi, for making this today. He's in Harare, He's one of Elvia's first students, and he can give us much more information about how her teachings have helped so many people through teaching the students such as Walazi. To begin with, my experience of meeting Elvia was because I had been working in townships in South Africa for about 16 years. And I qualified in the UK, and I got found out and I was shut down and threatened with imprisonment or deportation in 2014. And I sent an email to all my patients saying I could no longer practice. I didn't explain why and gave them a list of other homeopaths they could go and see, one of them being Elvia's son, Guy, who I now work with. And my email was sent to Elvia, and Elvia got hold of me and said, come and work with me. So that's how it started in 2014 when I got shut down. We began to talk. But Elvia's story is, as I think I was saying to you, Dr. Sharma, that when you're pulled, you're like drawn to homeopathy. It like sucks you in. We all have these stories as homeopaths, how you could, it just pulls you in, and you just have to keep going with it. And the same thing happened for Elvia. When she was about 35, she met Norma Harmon in Durban, excuse me, in a homeopathic pharmacy. And Norma Harmon, who then became Narayani and made the combination Indian remedies, you might remember Dr. Sharma. And she started to talk to Norma Harmon, but her husband wasn't very, Elvia's husband wasn't very keen on homeopathy, so she couldn't really do anything about it. And then in 1967, they came to the UK, her and her husband and her children. And Elvia's youngest son had severe asthma. And they were at the Natural History Museum, I think. And she couldn't walk around the Natural History Museum with her husband and her other children. She had to sit with her youngest son, and she feared for his life. And she decided to ask her husband for a Christmas present. And she said to her husband, will you give me anything for Christmas? And he said, yes. And she thought, well, he's probably thinking a mink coat. But she asked him if he would take their son to a homeopath, which he did. And he was taken to Dr. Frobisher, Dr. Donald Frobisher in Harley Street. And a remarkable recovery ensued. And when she went to see Dr. Frobisher again, Dr. Frobisher said, well, you're going to have to continue homeopathy for your son. Let me find you a homeopath in South Africa. And he had this big directory of all the homeopaths in the world. And he said, well, there's nobody near you. You are going to have to learn. And for Elvia, this was like the angels singing, God talking to her. And she began her journey with homeopathy with her mentor being Dr. Donald Frobisher, which is already quite amazing. um, so she practiced as a lay person. She was never um, qualified professionally by a body, although she was recognized. And she had so many remarkable experiences. I'm happy to tell you some. But I think our focus is on the Mission School of Medicine, which came a little later in her life. Would you like me to talk to you about how that began for her? Would that be start? Sorry,
Go ahead.
Right.
I will. So when Elvia's husband died, she was sort of released from not being able to talk about homeopathy. And as she told me, another remarkable experience happened where some bishops and pastors from all over Africa came to an Anglican church and in Hermanus, where Elvia lived. And she realized that this was an opportunity to teach people homeopathy and take it back to the rural Africa. So that's what she did. She did a first aid course. Walazi, were you on this first course in Hermanus? You'll have to unmute yourself, Walazi. You must unmute, Walazi. In the corner, there's a mute button. I can't hear you.
So, Balaji, you just unmute your Zoom so that we can
You
hear you. So, Balaji is the first student of El Babari. I am right, Rebecca?
was one of the first students. I think Walazi was one of the first students that was in Hermanus. There were 20 women and 20 men. Walazi, there's a video sign and an audio sign. You need to turn your audio on.
Okay.
Got it. There you are,
Yes.
Walazi. Now we just need
Yes.
to get you if possible.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Have you got the video on?
Yes.
Coming, Walazi.
Okay.
Walazi, I wanted to know. I know you now you've muted. There you go. Okay. Okay. Oh.
Uh,
There is a
Okay,
there is an icon of a microphone and of a
mm,
camera on the lower left of the screen.
uh,
Make sure that they don't have a line through them, like that they are muted. So
yes. To get through. Um.
yeah, you
So, so I'm trying to
sorry,
get through
listeners.
the. the
you are clicking on the microphone. You keep on muting yourself and unmuting, muting and unmuting. You need to click on the camera that's next to the microphone.
want to.
There you go.
Oh, there you are. Now you need to unmute. Now you need to put the audio back on, Walazi. We can't hear you now. We can't hear you, Walazi. No, Walazi, we can't hear you. You're still muted. You need to turn the mute off.
Balaji, can you hear us? If you hear us, you just click on your microphone and just unmute. Yes.
Okay.
There,
Thank
Yes.
there
you.
you are.
Sorry for. Yeah. Very sorry for the internet here. I have to go to another place. Sorry for that.
Okay.
Yes.
Walazi, were you one of the first students that Elvia taught in Hermanus?
I was the second in Zambia. I was the
Okay.
second group. Yes, I was the second group in Zambia. And the first ones were Lamek from Malawi
Mm-hmm.
and also Frosty. I still
Yes.
remember they were
And John
ahead of me.
Wale. Mm.
Yes, yes. And also John Chungwari from
Yep.
Zambia.
Yep. Yep.
Yes, those were the first ones
Yep.
go for training there. So I was the second in the second group.
Thank you. That's
Yes.
so. So the first group which she trained in Hermanus, she gave them Red Cross first aid training and then taught them basic homeopathy. And then Alvia was threatened with imprisonment and deportation as well. Not deportation, a heavy fine. So she decided to
Yes.
go into Africa and teach the students. And Walazi was the first one of the first group in Africa. You couldn't teach them here in South Africa, but you could teach them in Africa.
Yes, yes. So I attended in Zambia. Then from there, that is when they came to Zimbabwe to train us in Zimbabwe. So I was just leading the group in Zimbabwe um, together with Alfred. So we are pioneering with the mission, especially here in Zimbabwe, although there are some difficulties here. But we are keeping on the vision which she have over. So this is what we are doing, and it's real, and we are reaching out, especially in rural areas. That is where we are reaching, because her heart was to reach out in rural areas. That was the mission. So we are keeping on the mission so that we reach out even remote areas, and we are still moving on, although on a slow pace. Mm.
So one of the
So,
things that's discussing at the moment, Guy, Elvia's son, and myself, is turning the Mission School of Medicine into a charity or a trust to attract homeopathic funding, because Elvia was able to support the whole mission when it. So initially, we called it the Mission School. She called it the Mission School of Medicine because when missionaries came out to Africa or India, they were given a 3-month course on homeopathy and given remedies, and then they go wherever they were going in Africa or India, and they'd have a set of remedies. And Elvia really believed that this was an excellent thing to do, and this is the premise of her mission school of medicine. And in discussions with Guy, we're going to change it, and this will be news to you, Walazi, to rural homeopathy in Africa, and we're going to turn it into a charity or a trust in the near future, so that all the students can get support and we can continue the training that Elvia was doing in the past.
thank you so much. That is what I am keen to hear from you, and
I
also
know you are,
some of
Walazi.
the students as well.
I
So
know. We know.
yeah,
We know.
this will keep the spirit, moving on with the mission. You know, the heart of Elvia.
Yes.
She has that the heart with the poor people or even the imaginary people, especially in the rural areas. We have been with her moving around in rural areas, reaching out, as I said, especially the less privileged people. So
Yes.
I think with this program, we will reach out well because people they cannot afford, especially to go to the hospitals or even to the clinics. They are further almost 20 to 30 Ks to move on foot to go for to the clinic, and they find there is nothing there. But with homeopathy, we are able to reach out to them. We are going to their homes in their villages, you know, giving out and also making an awareness of how useful these remedies are. So,
Yes.
yeah, I believe we have to keep on pushing on so that we reach out to those areas as well.
What sort of things do you treat, Walazi? What do you find you're treating in your areas?
Um, yeah, basically, in more cases, it differs with the places.
Hmm.
But mostly in rural areas, you see there is diarrhea, more cases of diarrhea, malaria, and also, although HIV is on control, but you find out the people are dying there. We have cases like cancers. It's now a nightmare right now, especially in cancers. And heart problems and other rheumatic pains. So with our remedies, we are able to help just a few. Mm.
So, dear, is there any written work she did or she published regarding medicine or the remedy what they use, what she used in the diarrhea in the mass bulk, or is there any written book she left or
Elvia, Walazi, you can speak to this. I can add on to it.
Okay, concerning the material that we use, is that so? We
Yes,
have
yes.
yes, we have some pamphlets that we use, especially when we are being trained. So we were trained just basic first aid in homeopathy, whereby just a few are being taught and also follow. They are easy to follow. The books, the booklets are easy to follow, and the remedies are easy to use. Or even the less literate, they can also use the pamphlet. So although we have some challenges of others who are illiterate, but most of our students, they are able to read and also follow, and also able to give out some remedies on their spare time.
So whenever we would go, or whenever Elvia would teach, and when I went to teach with her, she had as Wilas is saying, a little booklet with the 30 remedies that she taught, basically around 30 or 40 diseases. Whenever we got to a place, we would interview each of the students, find out the most relevant diseases in the area, and address those diseases rather than bringing in new diseases to work with.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
we focused on sorry,
Yes,
sorry.
that's true. Different areas, we have different problems, we have different remedies that we give. We identify the areas. So the remedies we use, they are not just the same as other areas. So it
Mm.
differs. We identify the main problem within the area. What are the most diseases found in that area? So you will see some of the students, they have got the remedies different from other students because we differ with the places. Some are
Yeah.
prone to malaria, some are not. So we give the malaria remedy to those who are affected by it in their areas. So that is what we're doing, and also that is what we are still doing in different areas with the different diseases and also different remedies that are given to them. Yes.
So we were always quite specific when we spoke to the students that we were teaching. What are your needs in your areas? And so that's why it would be different in different areas. Um, and we would also then leave all the remedies. We'd leave the booklet and all the remedies. Every student got a set of remedies that they could then take home with them to their area. So it was all very specific to the places that we were going to teach. And of course, we haven't been able to go there since Elvia died. So we're hoping to be able to go again in the near future to give more the next level of teaching. Hey, Walazi.
Yes, yes, we are looking forward for that. Since since from COVID, we had nothing at the moment. And when you bring this, when I share with my friend, with other students, they were happy about it. That you are coming back, we are not left out. You are
Yeah.
coming back so that we can go on with this mission. Although some they have backslided, but we are trying by all means so that they come back, and we are saying we have to continue with the ministry with this mission. So I am proud of this. Really, I'm proud of this because it's like I'm the only one left doing this, and also some of our members, they are lagging behind because they are saying, we don't see the future of this program. But for myself, I am still going on because I know how it started and where we are going and what I want to fulfill the mission which were set before us. So it's a long story with the history. That what I used to do. I lost everything because of homeopathy. So that's why I am not surrendering in homeopathy. I'm able to just to go on and on and on with it on myself, especially just going on with the mission. That's the heart which I have. I have the passion, like what Elvia has also, the passion for the people, those who are suffering. And so I'm happy with this program. We want you to come to Africa, really. Yes.
We do too. Sorry,
Great.
Yes.
Walazi and I are having a bit of a laugh in here.
Rebecca, we have our co-host Hannah is there. Welcome, Hannah. So,
Hello,
Hannah, we
Hannah.
Rebecca and
Hello,
Walasi.
everyone.
Hello.
Thank you
So,
so
we are
much. Thank you so much for having me. And unfortunately, between snowstorm and traffic in Canada, the snowstorm is really not the best and not in our favor no matter what. So I'm glad to be here.
yeah.
Very
Great.
nice meeting everyone.
Hello, Hannah.
Yes. So we are talking about the Elva Burry, who is the great homeopath from South Africa. So there is a history, and I read many more thing about her. So, Rebecca, please
Yes.
continue your show and just let me know, and our listeners want to listen that why the homeopathy is very famous in Africa also because Elva Bari and like the David Brack and like many homeopaths were there who promote the homeopathy in different countries. So what are the specific qualities of Elva Bari who from those you all are remember to her?
Specific qualities that Elvia had.
Yeah.
You know, she was indomitable. You didn't say no to Elvia. Hey, Walazi, you don't say no to Elvia. She's this
No, no.
tiny woman. I mean, here's a photo of her and I. I don't know if you can see it, but she's this diminutive little woman. And uh, and so wise. I mean, such blue eyes. She's when she looked at you, she looked into you. She loved people and she loved to help and she could help, so she helped. I don't know if that's, I mean, there's so much to say about Elvia. I mean, she died at the age of 94. She had so much wisdom and knowledge. Um, and and one of the things that that really struck me about her is that she would study remedies all night long because she didn't, excuse me, have any official training. She would be studying remedies all night long, still looking after the kids and the husband and everything to keep up the remedies. When she was in Argentina studying homeopathy, now she's a South African. She goes to Argentina with her husband, and she's studying there, and she has a Spanish dictionary and a repertory and a materia medica, trying to work it all out in the lectures. It was incredible to hear how she studied. She just became passionate about it, like we do as homeopaths. We just can't get enough. Just something about the books in Africa. Just before lockdown, we actually managed to get some burkas up there and some Malcolm Ray machines that we needed so people could make remedies in countries. So yeah, she was a diminutive. You didn't say no to her. She was very directed and very passionate about homeopathy, and her whole vision was to prove that homeopathy works and to prove it works in Africa. So that was one of the reasons for the mission school of medicine, to prove homeopathy works, which it does, we know.
You know what, Rebecca? I think we got connected a couple times with Uta, and we didn't get a chance to really connect. But when I was in South Africa 2 years ago at the conference of Homeopathic South African Association, a lot of people actually have a beautiful memories of her. And I'm going back in September for a conference to Cape Town. So
Oh, when
hopefully, maybe you will be there and we'll get a chance to connect.
I'd love
Um,
to.
uh, I'd love to do that. It's phenomenal. I know that she was very instrumental on introducing and pushing homeopathy in South Africa. And I think that a lot of people don't really understand where is it, the background, where is it coming from, but it's actually coming directly from her. And uh, I I know that Elvia, um, her ideal was to really help and to teach and to promote homeopathy not only to patients but give them the tools so they can use it themselves, which is really quite instrumental in her thinking.
Mm, mm, mm. Well, that's why I mean we've got. I think Guy and I think there's about at least 200 students, and we obviously have a WhatsApp group where the students talk and ask questions and ask, and so we guide the students along now since she died. Um, and the most important thing is that we keep trying to keep going forwards, basically, because her vision is so profound and has helped so many people, as Walazi was saying. And whenever we're working with the students, it's just profound what they're treating and the changes they make, and it just knowing that her passion is behind that is just phenomenal.
Rebecca, you were friends with her in a way, right? We can
It's like
say
my
that.
mum. It's a bit like my
Right.
mum.
Right. So how was it to work with her? How was it to share the moments with her that really impacted you for life? Can you can you tell us?
Well, the good fortune of spending a week, a month with Elvia. So I'd
Amazing.
go to her house and I'd stay there for the week. And we didn't cook, we didn't clean, we didn't do anything. We just talked homeopathy. That's all we did from morning till night, looking at remedies, discussing cases, looking at books. That's what we did. And it was the most amazing experience. I mean, she had the most incredible library I've ever seen, a homeopathic library. And oh dear, we just lost Walazi. And So being with her, we became such good. Like I say, she was a bit like my mum in the end. Like she'd tell me off, and she'd tell me how to behave, and yeah, she we were very close. And but about 2 years before she died, I said to her, Elvie, I've really got to write your homeopathic life history. People want to know. And she's like, no, 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 I'm not doing that. I said, look, you're going to be dead. We talked about her dying. We talked about many things over the years. I said, you're not even going to be here to do it. And so it took me 2 years to interview her because she wasn't that keen on the spotlight being on her, to be honest with you. She would
Mm-hmm.
rather be
Mm-hmm.
elsewhere. Um, and sometimes I get lots of information, and other times she'd say, I'm not talking about it.
If you were to share the really profound learning on a personal note and also as a homeopath, what would be the guide? Would you share that with us, please?
I can. She kept things simple. She really did. She liked the old remedies. She wasn't too interested in the newer remedies. She really believed that there was a lot of mileage to be had from the well-proven remedies. And I just loved her simplicity. It was very practical, her approach to homeopathy. It wasn't complicated, and I just found her very straightforward. And I qualified from the London College of Practical Homeopathy, and her way we just really, we understood each other. It was very straightforward. We didn't, yeah, I don't know if that helps. Um, she was just, it was just, I didn't, she didn't make things complicated. You know, sometimes when you're taking cases, it's, you know, you're pulling your hair out, and she
Yeah.
just would keep cutting through to the core. She was born a homeopath, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know, Hannah, if you read the interview that I eventually published in Clever H, but there's
I
some
did. I absolutely did. It
peachy,
was
peachy
amazing.
stories. So yeah, she just was in this, as I was saying to Dr. Sharma, I felt like she was touched by Samuel Hahnemann, because so many incredible homeopathic experiences happened to her. Her mentor was Dr. Frobisher. Malcolm Ray and her became friends. He was a recluse. He didn't want to talk to her. Not her,
Hmm.
sorry, he didn't want to talk to people. Um, and she was handed a pile of the only handwritten documents of Samuel Hahnemann's ever seen in the world, were in Elvia's cupboard for 12 years. You know, it's just like,
Wow.
wow. So you
You
just
gotta be
realize,
a
sorry.
you gotta be a really truly a special human being and special soul to have these documents, to really make the best out of it and then share among a younger generation, not only as homeopaths, but as patients and students. And I think that really stands and speaks volume for her. And of course for you, because you're the one who made it happen come to the light, right? You're the instrument right there, little Hahnemann.
Well, she said to me, when I first went to Africa with her, we got back in the car and we've got a driver and she's beside the driver. I'm in the back seat with the accountant and John Chingwale. And she turns around and she says, I'm passing the baton on to you, Rebecca. And I'm looking behind me, like, what do you mean? And she says, no, you are going to take over the Mission School of Medicine. I'm like, what? But I'm honored. It's an honor to do this work with Guy, to keep it alive, Walazi, to keep the students, you know, feeling that they're held and supported. We must
Mhm.
continue to work. We must.
And you're doing phenomenal, phenomenal work. If I am able to include another article, this upcoming maybe issue or two about your work and all this work with you and Elvia, I think that would be an absolute privilege. I also think that people don't know enough. We are, in a way, have an overloading of information, but also not enough information that we are able to absorb and understand. And so putting that out there for people will be phenomenal. She's definitely instrumental, and so are you. So, how is life now? How is life with memory of Elvia? And I know that you all miss her presence very deeply every day.
Mm.
But I also know she's there with you guys and how you carry that forward.
I'll, I'll speak first, and then hopefully Walazi will come back. For me, it's quite a spiritual experience with Elvia. Um, it's There's a sense to me that she prods me to keep going and not give up when it seems insurmountable. Um, I've just noticed that there's this sort of, almost around her birthday and around her death, I get this energy rush, and I'm totally convinced it's her,
Mm.
to keep, come on, let's go more. And yeah, I miss her dearly, and I talk to her often. We did make a pact before she died, I'm delighted to say. So I do chat with her. Might
Love
make me
it.
cry now. Walazi, please, can you answer that question, Walazi? Hannah, repeat? Would you mind repeating it, Walazi?
Ozzy, how I know you all miss Elvia very much, but how is she impacting your life now? How you connect with her now? How you carry her? forward? Are you still connecting with her? I know she's with you in spirit, and I know you all feel her presence. How is she impacting your life now, and how you moving it forward with it?
Walazi, what say you?
Ozzy, you muted.
There we
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, it's raining here, and it seems the network is a bit problem here. It's going and coming. So we have poor signals here. You were asking about how I'm doing it, isn't it? Is that
Without
so?
Elvia, how
Um,
do you feel the sense of Elvia with you while you're doing your work, Walazi?
we are, uh, I believe I have that passion of the people, and also what Elvia taught me. That is what I'm giving out to people. That's why you are seeing me on the forefront, especially here in Zimbabwe, and also encouraging others in Zambia, Malawi, and also Uganda. We have a group whereby I still communicate with them so that they have the same spirit as I have. Um, so yeah, those are the things which although we have some difficulties, but yeah, we are moving on. We are moving on. Yes. What we need is your presence and your support, and also to do some conferences within the areas. Once a year, or to combine us is what Eritrea was also doing with the mission. So that is the same spirit which we are asking that we have to continue doing that as well. Yes.
Rebecca,
Hello.
Judy, Judy is asking in the chat, how did Elvia find out about homeopathy?
I think through Norma Harmon, who was then who then became Narayani later on. We met Norma Harmon in a homeopathic pharmacy in Durban at the age of around 35, if my memory serves me. And they chatted about homeopathy. But unfortunately, because Elvia's husband wasn't very keen on homeopathy, nothing happened until about 5 years later when she discovered Frobisher in London, Dr. Donald Frobisher. Does that help, Judy?
Rebecca, one more thing I want to ask, because this is a show by Homeopathy World Community. There are many homeopaths are there, many of non-homeopaths are there. So we want to listen about how Elvia was doing the homeopathic practice, how she cared about the patient, how she select the remedies, how what was the approach. So everyone wants to be know about the Elvia now, because many of the person may not be about her. So, is there any? Can you share the things how she care about the patient, how she select?
Elvia, oh my goodness. Elvia always had rescue remedy in her homeopathically, rescue remedy in her bag, always, always, always handing it out. If she knew somebody was unwell, she would prepare a remedy from what she knew and take it to the church or wherever she was going and offer it to them. They didn't have to take it. Um, she, she, she. I've looked at Elvia's notes. She wouldn't take reams of notes. She just she took a few notes. She didn't get, as I was saying before, she didn't get lost in details. She was quite clear. And I actually wanted to show you. Guy kindly gave me this. This is Elvia's Burika. And I mean, you can see how well loved this is. She got this in 1968, the year I was born, so it seems very poignant to me. But I don't know if you can see all her writings. She's got added so many notes.
Great.
I don't know if it's on that page, but there's so many notes in this book. When she was alive, I used to copy it out whenever I was there. I don't know if you can see. Whoops.
Hmm.
Great.
But this book is like to me, this is like probably one of the most valuable things I own. It's got so much information of her own notes. Um, so I don't know if that really, I just know with Elvia, she cared about everyone. If anyone needed help, she would be there. I've got a tiny little story, which is not homeopathic, that I heard about her, that she went to see these marching bands somewhere in Africa, in South Africa. And the white marching bands all had the gear, dun, da, 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 and the African marching bands had nothing. They're just marching the other bands. Elvia was basically incensed by this. And she always knew the right people, and she spoke to some commodore, or I don't know who it was, in England. And apparently the Queen then donated a container of everything for as many brass bands as you could think of because of Elvia's pushing for it. So the next time she saw these marching bands, they all had their own clothes, their own instruments, and they could play their own tunes. So she was always looking for ways to help. That seemed to me to be Elvia's way. And she was wise. She didn't waste words, straightforward, very polite as well. Very polite. Yeah, I don't know if that tells you any more. I don't know. To me, we were very close. It's a bit difficult to try and be anything, but I just love her, basically.
Great. So we are listening about the Health in Show, and this is by Homeopathy World Community. I request every homeopath who are listening this show can join Homeopathy World Community at www.homeopathyworldcommunity.com. This show is hosted by nishancommunication.com, and the producer is Mr. Amnan, who is like a magic man for Homeopathy World Community. Today we have Rebecca from South Africa. She's the homeopath, and Hannah is a co-host of Health in Show. So Homeopathy World Community is doing many activities like book club show, the coffee, and many more. We are also releasing the Clever Edge. This is a esteemed medical journal magazine, and it is published by SWC. And I request every homeopath to put your cases or case series or the research to the Clever Edge. You can send your article or blog to the homeopathy world community at the gmail.com. Or Hannah, you want to say anything about Clever Edge?
Yes, absolutely. I would love to invite every homeopath, every student of homeopathy, or everyone who is interested in homeopathy. As a chief editor, I would love to work with you, and I would love to have you on my team. So if you have 2, 3 hours to volunteer every 2, 3 months, I will absolutely love to grab your time and use your help literally to shed the light on homeopathy, on cases, on different articles. Homeopathy World Community presents from medical cases to homeopathic cases to cross-reference cases, as well as lifestyle story. Because remember, in homeopathy, lifestyle is very important. Your sleep, your diet, your nutrition, and of course, your health combined all together. And it's very important that we are able to work together as a team. It is a global organization, and so we would love to have you in here. I tend to travel a lot and between different conferences and different continents. So I'd love to bring people who I work with also into the magazine and meet them in person wherever I am in the world. So please join us at Homeopathy World Community and join in Clever H. You're welcome to email me directly at hannahhwc at protonme.com. we will put this email at the end of the program today. And I would love to, really would love to work with you. I'll be very, very, very happy to have you on my end. And of course, thank you, Deepak and Rebecca, for being such a co-host. Because we're learning today really something that we tend to not have a common knowledge to. People who really built and spread homeopathy throughout the world and at different parts. And they are often being forgotten or not mentioned anywhere in the world. And I actually personally never heard about it until I went to South Africa, and I had the privilege to be there twice um, for different homeopathic events. And so learning from the history, bringing to the future, can make you specifically someone very special who may be influencing your community, just like Elvia did in your own circle. So that's crucial. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for being such a really great pioneer of knowledge.
Pleasure, my darling.
Thank you. Thank you. So, what are the last word, Rebecca, you want to say about Elva? Because we are approaching the time, the 2 minutes are left. So, what are
Okay.
the last word you want to say?
The last thing I want to say about Elvia is she left the Mission School of Medicine in Guy and my hands. And I want to continue this vision of hers. I've seen and I still witness the teachings and what the students are capable of doing. They go into epidemic areas, they go and help with choleras and things like that. They just go and do it. They don't ask or say, shall I? They just go and help. And Guy and I can't do this without homeopathic financial support, basically now. Now Elvia is no longer with us. And I really hope that somebody is listening who believes in what Elvia started and believes that Guy and I can continue it. And obviously the students are the ones that are doing the work. We go up and support, bring new teachings and new remedies to them. But yeah, I just want to keep Elvia's vision alive, and I am honored to have been chosen by her to do it, frankly. And I'm just going to keep on going forwards with it and hoping that the doors that I knock on, one of them will open for us.
Great. And what are the word for the people who are not using homeopathy still? So, what your comment for the homeopathy? If means for the people who are not using homeopathy, what are your words to use homeopathy for them?
What are my words to get others to use homeopathy? Well, you see, I believe in vibration, as I'm sure we all do here. So for me, I tend to talk about vibration, that we're vibrational beings and that homeopathy is a vibrational medicine. That's how I make sense of it. But if somebody, I used to try and convince everyone to use homeopathy. I don't anymore. I just walk my talk. And I think that's quite a good advert, frankly.
Wake up and use homeopathy. Wake up
And
and
then you
start
can say that.
realizing. Yeah, wake up, wake up.
This is the word. These are the words. So, if you want to send your article, I repeat the Hannah's email. That is HWC, Hannah, HANNAH at proton.me, proton, PROTON.me. I am also putting this email address at nishancommunication.com at the live chat. So you can send the article there. So everyone, thank you so much for today's the burning um, series of health in show by Homeopathy World Community. Galasi, you was wonderful. Rebecca, you was too wonderful. I know many are there, and even on the chat, I think many much are listening and chat on there. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hannah, for coming and participating
My
in.
My
So
absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, Rebecca, and thank you, Dr. Deepak. Thank you, Ozzy. Their absolute pleasure
one
to be
of
here.
the person is
Thank
Grace
you,
Hill is
Walazi.
there. So many was there. So I thank everyone and I request every homeopath to join homeopathywordcommunity.com at www.homeopathyworldcommunity.com. The website is under maintenance for 3 to 4 days. We will live again with a new structure, new apps. So we will be there. Thank you once again. Thank you, and
Thank you for asking us.
many thanks to Mr. Emnan, who are always a magic person for us. He's
Magic
always
person.
doing great roles. Thank you, everyone.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.